afternoon to Dr. Narendran. We are from Group 4, so now we'll start present our project report regarding Malaysia International Business Policy. In this report, we will talk about Malaysia political, economic, legal, and technological environment. Then next, we will also talk about how the Malaysia government influence on the trade. Then next, we also will talk about Malaysia cross-national cooperation and agreement. Then we will talk about direct investment and cooperative policies also. And then we will also talk about strategy, alliance, and network work. And last but not least, we will also talk about international marketing policies.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and very a good day to Dr. Narendran and my fellow friend. How are you, Doctor? Hopefully you are in a good condition. Okay, today I'm going to present my part. I'm today also as a strategic planning division officer at the Ministry of International Trade and Industry. Today I'm going to present my parts. That is about the Malaysian political, economic, legal, and technological environment. Okay, first of all, about the politics in Malaysia. Malaysia has a unique constitution with the 13 states, the 3 federal territories, and the monarchy. And the head of the country in Malaysia is the Yang di-Pertuan Agong, and also the head of the government in Malaysia, as we know, is Prime Minister or the Perdana Menteri. And the monarchy in Malaysia is chosen by the Sultan of 9 Malay Kingdom, and the position is rotated every 5 years. About the Malaysian politics, Malaysia also as a member in the Commonwealth of Nations and the United Nations. And Malaysia also a founder member of the Asian and also the Organization of Islamic Cooperation, OIC. Malaysia is one of the world's most peaceful and political stable countries in terms of political aspect. In the Southeast Asia, Malaysia is one of the most vibrant and peaceful places to do a business. Okay, Malaysia is also have a multi-party democracy with a Barisan Nasional controlling the country nearly 25 years election before losing their power to the Pakatan Harapan Alliance at the 14th general election on May 9 at 2018, and now it's taking over by the Pakatan Nasional. It shows that investor and the government changes and the country trading policies are more than steady and making Malaysia a suitable option to do a business. But there are some allegations that Malaysia political parties are very corrupted. That's all about the political in Malaysia. Okay, now we move to the economy in Malaysia. Malaysia economy is the 4th largest in the Southeast Asia. It has been functioning well recently as a result of strong global demand for goods, increased demand for commodities such as oil and gas, and also improve the position in the market, and supportive fiscal strategy and considerable strategic spending. In any case, reduced government spending as well as reduced public and private investment has effect as reduced 29 economic growth at the 43%. And now in the economy, the indicators of the country economy analysis that include the unemployment rate, the foreign exchange rate, interest rate, inflation rate, and so on. The economic situation of Malaysia in terms of the tools is discussed further in our assignment, as you can see. And also Malaysian is importing the human capital from Bangladesh, as we know, and the other countries, which this strengthen the workforce and make the Malaysia an appealing offer for multinational cooperation. However, the local currency have been rated in terms of international exchange rates. And now, Malaysian inflation rate is inconsiderable, is low, and it always hover around the ideal and 2%. It was a very mild from January to April 2016, which would appeal to international investors since it will allow them to plan and budget more efficiently. To be profitable, businesses in Malaysia must work inside the Malaysian economy and capitalize on the advantage. Okay, now we move to the legal in Malaysia. To maintain order, of course, each country has its own legal system. Specifically in Malaysia, Malaysia has a dual legal and justice system with secular and non-Muslim subject to follow the British common law, and the Muslim subject have to follow the Sharia law. It has an external and internal legal factor exists in this law. For the businesses, before investing in the certain areas of business in Malaysia, particularly in the foreign direct investment, investors have to consider the various dimensions of the potential environment legal framework. There are also a certain law that affect the business environment in the specific country, as well as policies that companies maintain for themselves. For example, the investor have to study a little bit about the legal measure, about the employment legislation, consumer protection, industry specification standard, environmental regulation, and the competitive regulation of all part in the that's all part of the legal system in Malaysia. The Malaysian Parliament is the responsible for the enforcing the federal legislation throughout the country. And one example of the law in Malaysia about the workers is, as we know, the employment law. For example, the workers' minimum pay cannot be less than 100 and 1,200 ringgit, which is fairly high in Asian countries where labor costs are generally lower. Okay, for the last one is the technological environment of Malaysia. Today, Malaysia had more than 20.6 million internet users, indicating that the ICT has strong growth foundation, such as a rising income and a national development plan focused on the high tech. And Malaysia has a potential to generate 6.2 billion from the e-commerce enterprise by 2018. And also, Malaysia most well funded sector in the education, and it's become the home for a number of the prestigious universities where much research and development is carried out. As a result, new organization or the businesses can take the advantage of the benefit of the R&D effort and innovate in their businesses. And Malaysia is a developing Asian economy that seek for advancement through innovation and cutting edge creation. Then ICT have been identified as a crucial development in the country. Then also Malaysia become the global market expansion for the outside country, a very famous country as we know, like the IBM, the HP, the Intel, Google, Amazon. They come to Malaysia to invest and also to give their technology in Malaysia. Then Malaysia government have laid out a slew of initiatives to propel the economy forward, such as encouraging the organizational adaptability to innovation and empowering computerized firm. And also Malaysia has one of the most conservative in the social order, like a Facebook, Twitter, the Pinterest, Instagram, and so on. And however, many Malaysian businesses are concerned about the dearth of the locally competent workers to meet the increasing needs and difficulties of the expansion of computerizing innovation. Okay, that's all about our Malaysian political, economic, legal, and technological environment. Now I will pass to my friend. Thank you.
Good day to Dr. Narendran and my fellow friends. Before I start my part, let me introduce myself. I'm Chong Manchon, metric number 262363. I will continue with the part of Malaysian government influence on trade. Malaysia has been one of the most open economies in the world when it comes to trade. Malaysians' openness to trade and investment has benefited in terms of employment and income growth, with international trade being the major boost to Malaysia's economic growth. The trade policy in Malaysia. The trade policy are efforts that the Malaysian government has taken to create a liberalized and fair trade environment. The import tariffs that the Malaysian government exercise on the imported goods highly impact on the trade. The tariff imposed are on a value-add basis with a simple average applied tariff of 6.1% for industrial goods. For certain goods such as alcohol and wine, Malaysians charge specific duty that represent incredibly high effective tariff rates. Other than that, the tax policy imposed by the Malaysian government can also influence trade performance by introducing goods and services tax (GST), which is a consumption tax based on the value-added concept. In 2015, the Malaysian government introduced GST, where it impacted the international trade in Malaysia. Next is the free trade agreement. The Malaysian government has also entered into bilateral trade agreements with other countries with a goal to eliminate or reduce tariff and other trade barriers to establish a free trade zone. The Malaysian government has entered into 7 bilateral free trade agreements (FTA) with various countries like Australia, Chile, India, Japan, New Zealand, Pakistan, and Turkey. Trade agreements between these countries promote and improve trade. Besides, political instability can also affect the trade and investment of a country. The uncertainty, speculation, and political decisions can have direct consequences on trade. When the government makes changes in trade policy, such as increase in import tariffs, will impact the quantity of imported goods and cause the changes on prices and profitability in domestic market. When political instability or uncertainty occur, it will bring negative impact on exchange rate. For instance, when there was a sudden change in government in 2020, the political risk depressed the investor confidence in further trading nor investing in Malaysia, as the weaken on Malaysian ringgit. The weaker the national currency, the higher the exchange rate. The increase of exchange rate make imports expensive and stimulate export. This shows that the Malaysian political instability is indirectly impact on the trade system.
Good afternoon to Dr. Narendra and my fellow friends. My name is Ching Homi, metric number 262701. Today I will present about the Malaysia Cross-National Cooperation and Agreement. The economic integration is an agreement between all AMA nations within an economic bloc. It is to reduce and ultimately remove tariff and non-tariff barriers to the free flow of product, capital, and labor. There are 3 types approach to economic integration, which is global integration, bilateral integration, and regional integration. For the global integration, the World Trade Organization, which is WTO, will simplify the global integration by bringing countries together. And there are 3 agreements in this global integration. First, the General Agreement on Tariff and Trade, which GATT, is the predecessor to the WTO. And next is the Most Favored Nation Clause, MFN. It is the fundamental principle of trade without discrimination. Third is the dispute settlement. It is a clearly defined mechanism for the settlement of dispute. For the bilateral integration, It is exchange of products between two countries to boost commerce and investment. For example, tariff, import quota, export restriction, and other trade barriers. It is to improve market access and economic growth between two countries. It is easier to negotiate than multilateral trade deals. For the regional integration, the main motivation for forming regional trade grouping is to expand the market, and there are three agreements. First, Free Trade Agreement is a group of economic blocs that have agreed to remove all trade barriers. And Customs Union is an economic group in which all trade barriers are removed. Both of these agreements is to eliminate the tariff and non-tariff barrier between member countries. Next is Common Market. It's an agreement that allows countries to cooperate beyond tariff and non-tariff barriers by allowing free movement of capital and labor. The next is type of effect. There are two types of effect, which is static effect and dynamic effect. For static effect, as trade barriers disappear, the static effect causes resources to migrate from inefficient to efficient enterprise when trade creation and trade division occur. For the dynamic effect, it will occur when the gain from general market growth, production expansion, the realization of increased economy of scale, and the market's increasingly competitive nature. The next is the major regional trading group. First is the European Union (EU). It is the world's most complex regional trade and investment union today. And next is the North American Free Trade Agreement (NAFTA). It is deal with free commerce in goods and service, investment regulation. The next is the Association of Southeast Asian Nations, which is ASEAN. It established the ASEAN Free Commerce Area (AFTA) with the goal of reducing tariffs on interregional trade. And next is the Asia Pacific Economic Cooperation, which is APEC. It is to foster multilateral economic cooperation in trade and investment among the 21 countries that border the Pacific Ring on each side. It is committed to attaining free and open trade in the region for industrial countries by 2010 and for the remaining member countries by 2020. So that's all from me. Thank you.
Okay, good afternoon to Dr. Narendran. My name is Nurul Zurain binti Zamaruddin. My metric number is 262105. Okay, I will continue with the direct investment. Foreign direct investment or FDI began to rapidly increase into a major form for international capitals transfer starting decade ago. Okay, foreign direct investment is also active into a cross-border expenditures to accurate and extend corporates control of productive asset to an estimate triple in size. Okay, as we know, foreign direct investment is also a major net international loan from between Japan and the United States, which is the largest international lender and borrower. The scale and scope of multinational enterprise that have been measured using this theory also demonstrate the search for different in competitive advantage. Okay, next I will move to the type of foreign direct investment. Okay, they have three type of foreign direct investment, which is commonly categorized as being horizontal, vertical, and conglomerate. A horizontal FDI refer to the investor establish the same type of business operating in a foreign country as it operate in its home country. Next is vertical investment. This is one in which different but related business activities from the investor main business. Okay, the last one is the conglomerate. Conglomerate type of foreign direct investment where a company or individual make a foreign investment in a business that unrelated to its existing business in its home country. Okay, the last one, I will move to the advantage of foreign direct investment. The advantage of foreign direct investment is diversifies investor portfolio. Foreign direct investment diversifies is their holding approach, industry or political system. This will result in individual investor that having potential to gain and achieve greater portfolio efficiency. Okay, next, the advantage of foreign direct investment is providing technology to developing countries. Business operator will also receive management, accounting, or legal guidelines known as the best practice from their investor. This will also allow them to incorporate the latest technologies, operating practice, and also financial tools. That's all from me. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Asmi Syahira binti Hamdan. My matrix number is 262292. So I will continue to talk about Malaysian collaborative policy. Malaysia now has become the 19th largest trade nation. As a trade country, it is crucial for Malaysia to continue to look for ways to expand the market goods. There are many collaborative activities that Malaysia has done in order to expand their business internationally. The first collaborative activity that has Malaysia done was franchise. In 2008, Malaysian franchise industry has grown at 50% and remained until 2009. As of February 2019, Malaysia has authorized 877 active domestically and internationally franchised trademarks. Example of a franchise company in Malaysia is KFC, McDonald, 7-Eleven, Secret Recipe and more. The next collaborative activity is direct marketing. In Malaysia, Facebook, LinkedIn and Twitter has become such a strong presence and are becoming the social networking sites for targeted marketing. Malaysia has leveraged technologies as if it has upgraded a database to enable one-to-one marketing during the previous 10 years. Example of direct marketing that Malaysia has done is Amway, Avon, Mary Kay, Tupperware and others. Malaysia also has exported their products and services to another country, which is internationally. In 2020, Malaysia export activity to ASEAN managed to get 272 billion, making up 27.8% of the total exports in Malaysia. Electronic circuits boards, refined petroleum oil, palm oil and solar energy transistor were Malaysia's top export goods. Example of export company in Malaysia are Axiata, MISC, Petronas, Simdabi and others. A country such as Singapore, Vietnam and Thailand were Malaysia's top 3 export destinations in 2020. Malaysia also has made a joint venture collaborative activity with other company. In making this joint venture, both firms should have a standard business purposes. It stated that if the partnership assets are weak, they need to be responsible for the partnership debts, responsibilities and privilege, although they are not required. Example of joint venture in Malaysia is Mazda Malaysia Sdn Bhd. It is a formation between Mazda Motor Corporation and Bernmas Motor Sdn Bhd. I think that's all from me. Thank you.
Good day, Doctor. My name is Tamayan and my metric number is 261817. The next part is about the strategic alliance and network width. Strategic alliance is a relationship between two or more businesses that enable each other to achieve strategic objectives neither would be able to achieve on their own. First of all, China is the biggest trade partner in Malaysia. China and Malaysia agreed to set up cooperations in developing the flagship Twins Industrial Park in an effort to increase economic cooperations. Besides that, Australia and Malaysia also have a strategic alliance since November 2015. Australia is a part of the Five Power Defence Agreements, the only military alliance that our country involved, and Australia is assisting Malaysia with the maritime domain awareness. Furthermore, Malaysia Airlines Berhad and Japan Airlines agreed to pursue a joint business agreement. There are some of the strategic alliance benefit can bring to Malaysians and organizations. The first benefit is sharing knowledge. Malaysia able to learn the necessary skills and obtain certain capabilities from the strategic partners. During the cooperations, our strategic partners may assist to improve our productivity capacity, provide a distribution system, or extend our supply chain. Besides that, strategic alliance may help Malaysia to gain economic advantages. It will reduce the cost and risk by distributing them across the members of the alliance. Malaysia can obtain a greater economy of scale in the alliance as the production volume can increase, causing the cost per unit to decrease. Furthermore, strategic alliance can bring strategic advantages during the partnership. Malaysia can create the alliance to create the vertical integrations where our partners are part of our supply chain. Lastly, it's about the political advantages. It is necessary for Malaysia to form a strategic alliance with a local foreign business to gain an entry into a foreign market, either because of the local prejudice or the legal barriers to entry. Forming strategic alliance with the political influential partners may help improve Malaysia's own influence and positions. That's all for me. Thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Lee Howard and my metro number is 26199. And now I want to start my presentation. I want to talking about the recommendation about the strategy alliance. As we know, the Malaysia is rich in goods and resources. However, caused by Malaysian technology in processing and manufacturing, the material and the product only stay in primary product or export intermediate product and only can export to other country for processing as final product such as oil palm, mineral and so on. The final product result back to Malaysia then to be more expensive than we export to other country for process as final product. So strategy alliance are the best way to address this problem and development our own technology and industry by introducing more advanced technology and management technique in cooperation with other country and multinational company. So our group has suggested two sectors that Malaysia can improve by strategy alliance. First is the pharmaceutical industry. As we know, the world is currently shelled by the outbreak of COVID-19. Although the vaccine has been developed and made available worldwide, however, vaccines are short supply around the world. This is why the speed and rate of vaccination in Malaysia has not been able to progress as expected. Is due to lack of vaccine availabilities. In the healthcare sector, the strategy alliance and the partnership between the supplier, especially competitors, has been common of decades to open the new market and acquire the expensive technology or service, integrates capacities or purchasing power and achieve economic efficiencies in healthcare. For example, Malaysia can cooperate with Thailand's Siam Bioscience companies to manufacture the COVID-19 vaccine to mitigate and meet the current vaccine demand in Malaysia and reduce the Malaysian dependency on import to the vaccine from other countries and enhance Malaysian technology in pharmaceutical industry. Secondly, is the oil refining industry. As we know, Malaysia is the second largest oil producers in the Southeast Asia after Indonesia. However, based on the current technology and industrial level in Malaysia, Malaysia only can handle downstream operations such as liquefied natural gas and transportation, process and transportation of the natural gas, and more. Other upstream operations, such as post-processing products from oil, can only left to other foreign companies or countries to do it. So Malaysia government can choose cooperate with other countries with this technology, such as United States and Japan, to break trust in oil production, not just by exporting oil to other countries for final product, but also can refining the petroleum product by our own self. And this is my presentation, and I will pass to my group member, and thank you to everyone.
My name is Wafaliana binti Ahmad Mahriz, metric number 262494. Now, I will be continuing with my part, which is Malaysia's international marketing policies. Now, before we go further, let's first take a look at what is the meaning of international marketing and why do companies or businesses do international marketing. International marketing is usually referred to as the process of designing the basic main 4 P's of the marketing framework, which includes product, price, place, and promotion, but on an international level. But now the question is, why do businesses or companies do international marketing? One of the 2 major reasons as to why companies or businesses do international marketing is because firstly, for market expansion for the company, and second is due to the customer's demands around the world. When there is customer demand, sales will increase, and once sales increases, then the company's profit will also increase. Now, there's nothing wrong for companies or businesses to do their operations domestically or locally, but in terms of profit-wise, their profit will only be for the short term. As compared to companies or businesses that operate on an international level, their profit will increase more and they will not have to rely only on the profits gained from their domestic market, but they also will gain profit from their international market. Hence, there will be a sustainable profit in the long run. Malaysia's international marketing policy aims to help boost the country's local businesses' trade performance at an international level. Creating a marketing mix for Malaysia is a must in order to do businesses not only domestically, but also internationally. But before that, organizations or companies in Malaysia must understand and incorporate the elements of the global marketing environment. This boils down to market segmentation, where it includes product attributes, pricing strategy, distribution strategy, and also communication strategy or promotion strategy. The process of separating distinct groups of consumers or target market into more defined or smaller categories is defined as market segmentation, where their needs, wants, and purchasing habits vary from others in important ways. Now, we will move on to the 4 P elements in the market segmentation. The first P that we will take a look at will be the product, or in this market segmentation element, it would be product attributes. As for Malaysia, the country basically allows any product to be sold, but products sold must be in compliance with the Royal Malaysian Customs list of prohibited or restricted of imports and exports. Among the products or items that are on the Royal Malaysian Customs list of prohibited or restricted items include reproduction of currency notes, banknotes from any countries, indecent printings, paintings, photographs, books and cards, turtle eggs, drugs, and many more. However, there are some items or products that does require a license or permit from relevant authorities. This includes arms and ammunitions, collections of zoological, botanical, or ethnographical with numismatistic interest, live animals and poultry, and many more. Now, we will move on to the pricing strategy. Malaysia is deemed as an affluent country in the region of Southeast Asia, which means that there is a niche market for goods and services that are higher priced, but the purchasing power and low cost of living of the average Malaysian must be reflected in the prices of general consumer products. As for existing price policies in Malaysia, some of them includes the Price Control Act 1946 and also the Price Control Anti-Profiteering Act 2011. For the Price Control Act 1946, the purpose of the act is to enable the government to determine prices of goods or charges for services with the object of curbing excessive profiteering of essential goods and services by unethical traders. Meanwhile, the Price Control Anti-Profiteering Act 2011 or PCAP is to protect consumers in Malaysia against unreasonable increase in prices of goods and services. Now, we will move on to distribution strategy. The distribution strategy takes a place in the 4 Ps of the marketing framework. As for Malaysia, if a foreign company or business wishes to operate in Malaysia, it is a must for them to have a local partner, or in other words, a Malay-owned Bumiputra company for government procurements as to effectively compete in the market. This means that the business or company should be locally incorporated in order to engage in Malaysia's trade. Last but not least would be the communication strategy. This communication strategy signifies the promotion element in the 4 Ps of the marketing framework. Different countries vary when it comes to their cultural environment that ranges from language, social structure, and even education. As for our country Malaysia, it is known to be a country that is morally conservative, where issues involving sex, LGBT, consumption of alcohol, and even gambling are strongly opposed by the majority of the local citizens, as most of them are of Malay Muslim people. Hence, aspects like advertising images and social forces must be taken seriously. For instance, there might be restrictions regarding the type of photos that will be used in advertising or for promotion purposes, where images that are used for this matter that has elements like nudity, racist or sexist behavior is often restricted in Malaysia as to not offend the Muslim majority community and also the multiracial netizens. That is all for my part. Now, I will pass on to the next member.